Alright, something I maybe failed to mention in the last video is that if anyone's dealing with an addiction or food addiction or wants to go on a journey with me and, you know, bite that bullet and, maybe starting Sunday when you go to church or something, you try to start that day, you know? And fast from it and replace it with just spending all of that time or all of your time, whichever, with in a lone secret place in nature with the Bible and and reading a chapter and then 15 minutes, no thoughts, no, and for me, oh boy, it took it took a lot to make my mind shut up. It took a lot of days and it took a lot of attempts, and I did the thing where I did the advice where I saw advice about how you can't stop your thoughts, then to try to do so makes it worse, like a car pilot, like a traffic jam on a highway, and so it's best to stay at the side of the highway rather than to try to block it, and just observe your thoughts, but don't try to capture them, and don't try to stop it altogether. So it's like, that's how I slowly, got my mind to shut up during those times. Anyways, so basically that. Okay, anyways, besides being like your accountability partner or just friend to go along this journey and bite the bullet, that's what I'm gonna do as well. Anyways, this is today's thing. Today's message that was sent to me, for me, and I can't imagine it not being helpful to someone else out there. So I'll pray that this finds who it finds, who needs to. Alright, I was minding my own business, watching things, and in X-Men 97, Episode 10, Season 1, Professor X grabs Magnus' hand, helping him to his feet when they were asleep. I nonchalantly said to myself, that's gotta me, And all of a sudden, Professor X said a lot of mighty, a lot of serendipitous stuff, making it mighty relevant. So here's what he said and what God said to me through this detour. I don't know, it's better lighting, but anyways. There you go. God said to me through this detour I took, proving yet again God is awesome and as cool as Sherlock Holmes, because he gives those vibes when he makes every even detour you take or doing things you're not supposed to do part of his dominoes master plan. Anyways, when Magnus said, "Who are you?" in a vision dream thing, which makes it more relatable. Professor X said, "I'm a teacher, here to help guide you from this place, from these elements. Before these elements consume us, consume you. I can show you, but you must trust me. Understand?" As he holds out his hand. "Only then can I finally help you escape." That's good to hear. Without God, I have no hope in me left. That's what I realized at that moment. And with him, yeah. And with this message, I am given hope that it's not a game over of loneliness and bad news is my life. And the idea of biting the bullet brings these type of thoughts out, that my best days are behind me, that maybe it's not, but but I know from experience that maybe it's not as bad as I thought it's made out to be. And I'll tell you why. It's from experience. Because I made it to the output. I had breakthroughs lots of times. And I fell off the bandwagon like a day later. Spiritual warfare sucks. Anyways, I probably already said that in a past video, but anyways, and that may be on the other side of my fear. That, well, yes, indeed, on the other side of that fear, which is just like ego's last bluff. Ego's last bluff that you have to call that fear, because you'll find out that it was just a bluff, like an ego's last attempt to not be thrown away or broken. And it always feels also like pride. It also always feels like pride being broken before you finally deal with those feelings you've been stuffing down. Anyways, that's another side of letting go of what I wanted, or my flesh wanted. That maybe if I trusted him and finally walk away from this addiction, this crippling coping mechanism, or whatever fear is causing it, that if we trust him, we can finally escape this. Later, Magnus says, these waters, they're so cold. He says, these are the dark parts inside these years. So many do have these dark waters. While the tide of our past can drag us under, it also carries us to others who are fighting their own current, who help us stay afloat when our limbs are tired or the waters rage, and for whom we do the same. What grief is inside? What heartbreak is there numbered and buried? Oh wait, that's what I wrote down. What grief is inside? What heartbreak is numbed and buried? Autocorrect. He says, I know it's cold, but be brave. Let the tide pull you back. Me saying, well, what? That's Magnus saying, it's too cold, I'll drown. I have you. He holds you and says, I'll always have you, even if I'm pulled under too. Together, we will resurface. And he says, partially says, even if you're sidetracked, wounded by your parents, then he says, they are human too. They mess up. And I know how it feels to have the things you trusted, the future you were building, crash down on you and refuse to let go, even as you're buried by what should have been. You're not alone. So I hope I pray this video finds who it's meant to find. I can be your journey partner through this. So can the feeling of like sober, like church people or whatever. There's that feeling where it's just like, well, I guess I could go to church and be with a bunch of normal people. There's that feeling. But then go right to being in nature, as my opinion. I hope this video finds you and finds you well. Have a good day.